Gather round, friends, new and old, and welcome to the pre-planned podcast of POWWOW that I for certain knew that I was introducing us today. Welcome in. My name's Philip.
And I'm David, your other host.
Oh, man. Thank goodness
God,
we have each
how
other to lean
coordinated
in.
we are.
I know. Between this and the main topic, we are just the epitome of coordination. David, dare we say it? Are we allowed to? I know next week we already have something planned, but
how do we not talk about this?
Do
we not talk about this?
Let's get into that slaps and off the top.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so the main topic, which you will hear in a couple minutes, and the game were recorded yesterday, Sunday, the 27th of March. This we were recording on Monday, the 28th of March, which means it's the day after the Oscars. Wow. I got thoughts.
For all the wrong reasons, the Oscars took to the top of Twitter, Facebook, and dare I even say Grindr. We are trending on all platforms for Oscars. I guess the first question would be, David, did you think it was staged or very real?
It was real. It was 100% real. I've got that question a lot. People keep asking me. I'm like, why are you asking me? But no, it was definitely real. You can tell. You can tell based on, first of all, the fact that the audio was cut during in the U.S. broadcast, but not in the international broadcast.
Exactly.
That was one thing.
I guess we should actually set this up a little bit more. In case for some reason you're living under a rock and you've lasted by this point a near week of not having seen any news, any buzz, and you just came back from a hunting trip, maybe a submarine trip, and you've been isolated and other things have been more important in your life. During the Oscars, during a live taping of the Oscars, Will Smith went up and slapped the absolute crap out of Chris Rock after he made I think we can agree on this, a tasteless joke on the part of Will Smith's wife concerning her current hair do that she is rocking. She is going for a shaved head look, but also, and in some background, she suffers from alopecia, I believe is the proper pronunciation of it.
I guess so.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
So therefore, that has aided in that. So she is rocking it. She is owning it. She's making it her own. Chris Rock made a tasteless joke in that, referring to her as starring for the upcoming role of G.I. Jane 2, the sequel. And after which Will Smith walked on stage and went beyond Kanye and slapped Chris Rock across the mouth. Go ahead, Dave.
It was definitely real. You can tell, first of all, by the fact that the broadcast, like, you don't swear on a national broadcast in the U.S. And there was a lot of swearing. You can look it up online. There's the international broadcast. I saw it in all its glory. No audio was cut when I saw it. I saw it all live, and it was like, at that point it was like 3-4 in the morning. I was like, we were just struggling through it. We were like, oh my God, why another commercial break? Come on! And then Will Smith gets up and slaps Chris Rock, and we were like, well, I'm awake now. And let's just say this: I think Will Smith is in the wrong. I don't think anyone's really that in disagreement with that.
Yeah, no.
I don't think Chris Rock was in the wrong. I thought the joke sucked. It was in poor taste.
Terrible joke.
But people are acting like Jada Pinkett Smith is the first person to get roasted at an awards show. This happens all the time. Let me ask you, Phil, if there was no slap and Will Smith had not reacted, and you saw Jada Pinkett Smith's reaction, right? Her reaction was, they showed it on camera. She was not pleased.
No, she was not.
Imagine that the stuff with Will Smith never happened. Would we be talking about it today? No, we would not, because these kinds of jokes happen all the time. It sucked. It was like not a good joke. I didn't like it. Not a lot of people did. In the moment, though, people laughed, including Will Smith. He laughed. You watch the video.
Yes,
he laughs at he very obviously laughs at the joke. And then something happened. The camera cuts back to Chris Rock. Something happens. He looks over at his wife, sees that she was not happy with the joke, and it changes in his head, and that's when he decides he's going to do something about it. And it was, I mean, the question for me is like, what kind of example is Will Smith setting for all the people, all the younger people watching? I mean, this, even those kids who are in bed by then are going to see it probably on social media. If you're like 10 years old or a little bit older, like you've probably seen it now on social media. I mean, what kind of example does it set? Someone tweeted, one of the NFL pundits that I follow tweeted that if this had happened at any other show or at any sports event, if someone had walked onto the stage or walked onto the field and slapped somebody, assaulted somebody, they'd be dragged out of that venue. You know, and because it's Will Smith and it's the Oscars and he's up for an Oscar, and obviously no one did anything about it. But that's weird. It's weird that no one did anything about it, because that's not okay. That's not okay in modern society.
No.
And the fact that he was then given a voice a few minutes later, and there was nothing that could be done about that. Like, obviously, he was still going to win the award. Obviously, the vote had been cast. But the fact that he then got several minutes to talk about it, I also think was kind of, it left a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know how they could have avoided that, but it left a bad taste in my mouth that he was then able to stand up there and talk like a hero.
Yeah, I don't know about a hero, but yes, let's continue on with the longest intro to any episode we've ever done here. With just one more aside.
I mean, how can we not talk about it? How can we not talk about it?
I would say yes, I agree in the tasteless joke. You can even see in the opening of the Oscars, if you completely missed the Oscars and you watched the opening, there were jokes made at Samuel L. Jackson's expense that by the end he got with. At first, they were making fun of him, even though he had just won an honorary Oscar. They were making fun of him, saying that there's some things missing out of his resume. You could see that he had some displeasure on that, and then by the end, when the joke finally lands, he's playing along with it. Such is the case with many things. If you look back on the Ricky Gervais Oscars, he was throwing out haymakers left and right.
Well, he did. Did it every year at the Golden Globes. That's his thing. He dishes out zingers and like burns, like real burns. Like, he goes after people, and that's just how it is. And if you're in the public eye, it's just reality. You can go on the morning show the next day and talk about how much you hate Chris Rock and how much you think his comedy sucks and like how much you didn't like the joke. That's part of the spiel, but like, you don't go up on stage and slap the guy.
No, that's certainly not what you do. You look around, and there are certainly other ways that you could have contested that joke. Should you need to, you can go up and discuss it with the man privately backstage. I'm sure it's Will Smith. It's not like us. If we want, if somehow, some way, Chris Rock made a joke at our expense, through what stream of availability would we ever be able to make a meeting with Chris Rock or talk to Chris Rock? Will Smith certainly has avenues with which he could reach through and get a hold of Chris Rock if that was the case and necessary. This wasn't that, and you're right. It's sad that he chose violence, and especially I think a bigger tragedy. Just looking at the man himself, he ruined what should have been his crowning achievement. And it's sad that that one does that, self-sabotage. We know that it's a stated case that at every Oscars there is some liquid courage going around. These celebrities get wined, dined, and Will Smith knew that he was one of the locks of the night, really, to go home with an Oscar. I'm sure he had some liquid courage plenty leading up to that event, and made a poor decision that will probably hang with him for quite some time, honestly, if not forever.
You know what was worse than the slap, though, was the yelling afterwards that "keep my wife's name out your effing mouth."
I don't think so, man.
I don't think it was worse. Like, but that's when everyone went, "Oh, like, this is real." You know, that's when Chris Rock went, "Okay, you know, like, yes, I will." Like, in the slap, Chris Rock laughed off, but it was when he was yelled at. That's when he really looked in shock. You know what I mean?
Sure, but I mean, the man was coming down from a high of just once you get off that testosterone.
No, I mean, like, I suppose I kind of misspoke. Like, the slap was obviously the real thing, but the yelling like was very jarring for me, and I think for everyone in the room as well.
Well, yes, because that's a moment that we all realized.
People weren't sure. Like, was that a planned thing? Was it a fake slap? You know, in the moment, I wasn't sure. At the time, I was like, wait, is this like a bit? Are they doing a bit?
All right, last thing here, David, and this is something that I responded to you when you brought this to my attention. I think that the way you respond to things shows a lot about who you are and your character.
Right.
I think even crazy as this may sound, as we've seen this in the past, where somebody such as Kanye has gone up and stolen the spotlight from Taylor Swift. Had Will Smith even done something to that degree, walked up on stage and stole the mic that was not even in Chris Rock's hand, but stole it out of his ear and spoke in to say that this is not funny. Even that, we could have all had a grown-up discussion to say, was that a justifiable act to walk up on stage and do this? I think that could have been even said, you know what, it's 50-50. You want to go out and take a shot with your wife, or just take a shot at somebody's wife, you can go up and then have a retort back on somebody. But to go up and slap, I don't think there's anybody in any crevice of any arena that says who's fully thinking about the situation and what example it sets, where the repercussions lay, that can justifiably say Will Smith was in the right to go up and slap Chris Rock. That is not. And thank God
it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And this really will be the last thing. It's really unfortunate that took away from all those, like the artistry that went into some really beautiful films. That's what we should be talking about today, but we're not, because how could we when what happened? I want to say a shout out, and it won't feature on That Slaps because it already has. But Coda, I was delighted. Like it was a, like how great, that Coda won. Like, I thought that was really, really wonderful. And Troy Kotzer as well. We'll talk about this.
We'll talk about that later.
We're running out of time.
Yeah, we really are. So let's get to an already jam-packed main topic, as well as the rest of the entire episode. Speaking of wonderful things, and let's get on with it. It has been over a year, 58 episodes, and yet and still, I am embarrassed to say this is the first time we have had Cass and Crossland of infamy. Of course, you hear them every episode to enter our episode and to exit the episode. But the first time we have had a chance to interview them on this podcast, of course, that is, do you prefer your full name or just Alex?
Just Alex is cool.
I mean,
some people call me Crossland, and that's why.
Okay,
that's another reason.
Which is his last name.
That is my last name as well.
That's you. So all right, we have Alex and Cassie, of course, of Alex and Crossland, or sorry, Cass and Crossland. Excuse me, my bar bit. It's all there.
This was easier, but apparently
let me take over here, Phil.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I just heard you say Crossland. So it's like it's Crossland, not Crossland.
Well,
because every time we say big thank you, big shout out to Cass and Crossland, it's always Crossland.
It's all in how you say it. There's no right or wrong, but it is a compound noun. So there are two nouns in there, cross and land. So we went. Let me tell you, we went through the ringer of names. We were just like, do you want to be just Crossland? No, that's too Jesus-y. Yeah, Cassie and Crossland. It is hard to pick a band name.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been there.
Yeah, what was there anything else that was like right there, or was it just like let's just freaking stick? Let's just stick right to Cass and Crossland.
Crossland and Cass.
Oh yeah, well something like that. I have a whole list of like ideas that never went. Like we wanted to the sinking boats, the sinking boats,
or
like
that felt a little intense.
I wrote the copacetics down, and I recently saw that again, and I was like, that's kind of cool, but I don't know.
maybe an album.
We went through a whole list of names trying to think of a podcast name. I have a whole paper.
I think it's perfect. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It's the same decision, yeah.
All right, last one before we actually dive into the interview here. Cass, do you get $1 more? Cassie, do you get $1 more like every performance since you're first on the night? Cass and Crossland, do you get $1 more?
No, because I am a woman, so that's not how that typically works out.
Yes.
Savage true. All right, let's begin. I'll start us off. All right, guys, let's go right at the beginning. How did you guys meet? How did Cass and Crossland come to be?
Alex and I also do musical theater, and we met performing in this musical called Once, which is based on a movie. Glenn Hansard from the Swell season wrote all the music, and it's a musical where the actors are also the band. It was great to have all those musicians together on stage, and Alex was like, "Oh, I've been kind of writing music. Like, it'd be cool to collaborate." And we kind of played some songs together, but nothing like too serious. And then we kept booking shows, and so it was sort of like a pipe dream. Like, oh, it'd be really cool to form a band. It really, really cool to write together, but we never had time. And then 2020 happened, and all we had was time. So we used that, like the pandemic for us. Obviously, this is like speaking from a huge privilege, but for us, it was a big gift because we had all this time that we could use to write and record together.
Were you guys roommates or something at the time? So you just
No, we were bubbles. Like, I don't think I saw anyone else. I was working at Sprouts, so I was a danger to them, honestly.
Yeah.
But I was working at Sprouts, and they had a bubble, and I was just like, I'm not seeing anyone. Let's just like record in a closet, and we just like allowed ourselves to get that project done over the summer of that pandemic.
And for a while, we were writing together just like through sending voice memos and this app called the Acapella app, where you can record parts together.
Yes, I've seen it.
So for the first little part of the pandemic, we were writing
separately,
but together. Yeah.
A lot of notes and recordings, voice memos, things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you guys both sing. What do you guys play?
In our group, generally speaking, I play guitar and Cassie plays violin, and we both sing, like you said. But we did it kind of all on the recording. Cassie also plays guitar, has written some songs. And like for the recording, Cassie's boyfriend, Matt, who produced our entire EP and is kind of our main sound expert that we use, he played bass on it. We had our good friend Michelle record some drums in a really distanced space that worked really well. And then we kind of just put it all together by ourselves. And I'm not the greatest piano player. Like I played some on that intro track, but you can take a lot of takes when you're recording an EP. Now we have better players and better people, but we strung it all together for the recording, but live we just play duo, violin, guitar, and vocals. Yeah.
And you don't use tracks when you play live, like for drum tracks or anything like that?
No, not really. We kind of like the shtick right now is that our live stuff is just very chill and acoustic.
Yeah, the closest thing we have to drums is that I play the Sesame Seeds.
Yes, which are
my
on
favorite shaker.
They're on the EP. We should have brought them, but it's literally like a can of Sesame Seeds that shake really well.
So you guys started. You have someone who helps you with the producing and the sound. Did you guys do recording before you guys got together as a group on your own that allowed for you to sort of head into that without having like this ginormous learning curve of learning how to produce your own music?
The short answer is no. I'm looking at Cassie like,
really,
did you?
I think like in high school, I would like record stuff on GarageBand, but that didn't go anywhere. It was just like for my own entertainment. But yeah, we had a lot to learn, and we still have a lot to learn. We're very lucky.
Yeah. And I mean, like during the pandemic, I like got this microphone and like got an interface, and even that like is what I recorded your stuff on. But what we did for our EP is way beyond our reach. That's Matt. That's Matt. He knew what he was doing, and we learned a lot from him. It actually made us want to, we released it, and then immediately we were like, let's get back and do another one because we learned so much, but TBD on when those will release. But
right. How long did it take from the inception of Cast and Crossline, from those Bubble Buddy days, to create your first released single? How long was that process?
2 years?
Oh, not even.
1 year.
Yeah. When we started like really writing together, that would have been like the fall of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, let's do this, but we didn't have a plan to record yet necessarily. And then our first single came out in October of 2020. So about a year from like, let's do this to putting music out into the world, which is really, really fast. And it's purely because we had so much time on our hands during 2020.
And what's funny is our first single that we ever released was not when we were originally planning on recording. In June, we would like, we're going to do this. And then, Adeline was the first single we released. And like it had been written way later than all of the other songs that we had for like months at the time already.
So what brought that one forward as opposed to the other ones? It just felt better?
We just liked it. I don't know. Yeah. We actually had another song with another female's name called Rebecca that we were like going to record. And then we thought it was like kind of too similar in terms of just like storytelling. So we were like, just preferred that one because of the energy. We still will probably record Rebecca one day, but I don't know why. I wrote that Adeline, that song I was humming in the Sprouts freezer like working one day, and I like recorded a little voice memo, and that was in June, and then we released it in like
October.
October. Yeah.
It's funny
crazy.
you guys have written a couple songs with female names. I was scrolling through Instagram this morning and I came across a Family Guy clip where Stewie's writing a song about a girl and Brian says, "Oh, how original. You're writing a song titled with a girl's name. That's been done so much." And Stewie goes, "Oh yeah, name 20." And Brian
And he
names
does.
20.
He does. Yeah.
exactly. All right, so how do you guys balance music, your music life with whatever other jobs? Do you guys still hold day jobs? Do you? Phil's told me you both work as actors still. So, like, what's the balance like?
It's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
we're very aware of when like our music has to take a back seat to our lives. And like Cassie's a school teacher. I have a coffee shop job. And so like this upcoming summer, we're both gonna be on stage again at Phoenix Theater. And can we say that? We might have to edit that.
Yeah, no,
out.
that's
okay.
fine.
All right, yeah, we
so
can.
What's public knowledge and what's not? But
no, it's fine. But I teach 7th grade science. So I have a day job that's totally different. And then I do a lot of side gigs. Like I play at churches and we play at a memory care facility. So
I played a restaurant gig last night.
Yeah. So sometimes our like original music stuff does have to take a back seat. And it's been hard since everything has come back, which is great. It's been hard to find the balance of when we can focus on Cass and Crossland stuff.
I guess the short answer is we're figuring it out as we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Given that live music is sort of just in the last few months coming back to like a full swing, I've got a lot of friends who are musicians who are just now getting used to playing all the time. How often or how many shows have you been able to do? Because you guys started during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Because we started during the pandemic, we didn't take a traditional path where we were like getting plugged into the local music scene and meeting other bands and like, hey, can we open for you? Like we didn't have that pathway. And so now that everything is open again, we're trying to figure out how to kind of break our way into that scene.
Is there a good music scene in Phoenix? I mean, I don't know. I've been to Phoenix
there is.
one night.
It's funny. It's like every venue kind of has their niche though and their genres. And so you have to figure out sort of almost who you can play with more so than where you can play. And you just have to meet the people and the people will get you the gigs more so than like you going up to the venue. But yeah, there's some really solid up and coming artists around here too. So it's been cool to see that. We met bands like during the pandemic, like over TikTok or like over Instagram. So we have a show coming up that I'm going to play. I'm going to open for a band that we met on TikTok at the Rhythm Room on April 10th, Sunday night. So that'll be cool. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like those are weird connections that didn't even come from, walking around in Phoenix, but that was from TikTok or whatever. So that's crazy.
So you both sing, you both interchange on musical instruments, but for the rest of the composition on songs, like who takes care of lyrics, harmonies, maybe even song titles, something as arduous as that? Who does what on the creation of a song between just the two of you?
It kind of depends on the song, but I would say Alex writes like 10 songs to every one song that I write. He writes like crazy. He'll like send me like 10 and then I'll be like, oh, I have this one, but that's okay.
And what percentage of the 10 are like, yes, let's go forward with this?
And honestly, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
Because at first I would say it was like one for every 20.
Yeah.
But maybe now it's like one for every 5. But Ed Sheeran actually has a quote where he's talking about writing songs is like turning on the tap for water. You got to let it run for a little bit and then you start getting good water,
But Alex, a lot of times, like I would say the most typical process is that Alex presents a song and then I will kind of like edit it or like fine tune it and change some lyrics around and like maybe change the chord progression a little bit. Sometimes he can get a little more experimental.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that's weird. We need to fix that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think my favorite part about it is that, again, so much is I just have like an idea like all the time and I like write something down or do something and I kind of throw it together to present. And then Cassie goes, yeah, but what are we trying to say? What are we trying to do? And I think that's sort of the thing I need as a creator. Cassie and I have very different brains in that way. Yeah. She's very much like, a focused mind and I'm like more of like a large sort of scale.
Yeah. Alex is like a big ideas person and I'm like okay, but what's the plan?
Yeah.
I'm a lot more logical and practical, which I think enables him to to write more because he's not so in his head. He's just like creating and just throwing it out there. And I get a little analytical. But I think that's what makes it work is
Yeah.
that
Good balance.
we balance each other out.
The analysis is necessary, or else you'd be like, why is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Why is that there? I wish we had examples, like even on the EP, there's like little verses that were cut from Maggie. Or
Maggie Simon is a great example.
Was a much longer song.
Yeah, the song was
and had a
really
weird minor section.
Yeah, the form was really confusing.
Weird.
And so that is one of my favorite songs that Alex has written. But yeah, it took some kind of editing and streamlining.
Some finesse. Yeah.
Some focus.
We could just keep going. You know what's funny about that song too is that when we met, we were having jam nights with the cast of Once. And that's kind of when we all started like playing our original music. And like when I wrote Maggie, like a year later, the pandemic was, on a lull, and it's just gone up and down. And so we brought it over to our friend's house. And yeah, like I think it was at that little night we were throwing together that we were like, oh, well, what if we put this section here and this section here and just redid the whole song like on the spot? And then that kind of came to be like what it ended up being as a recording.
Yeah.
Do you guys have so for the listener of POWWOW podcast, who for whatever reason, after hearing 58 episodes and hearing us mention your name in a thank you at the end of every episode, still hasn't checked you out, what is your favorite song that you've released, and what would be the song you think that listeners should go to first? What sells your sound best?
I think because Adeline was our first release and it got the most traction, I think it has a really good energy. Yeah, it sort of took off. It has our most streams on Spotify by far. I always just recommend that to people first, just to get a feel for like the genre, the style. But I don't know if it's my favorite of what we've released. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say my favorite is actually something we just didn't release. We haven't released through Spotify, but we just submitted for NPR's Tiny Desk contest this year, which is a yearly contest that they have for unsigned artists. And we recorded this song called Too Young. That I think that's our favorite thing that is like out there, because it really...
Yeah, it's technically out there. It's just not on platforms yet. Yeah.
It just cuts right to the feelings.
It's aggressive. But it's cool. I mean, like it's I don't know why we like really gravitate towards sad songs, even though we're
not like sad people.
Yeah. Yeah. We're both fairly upbeat people.
Yeah. What is the best and worst thing when collaborating together? I obviously, maybe it's distance for you guys specifically. Maybe it's whenever she says, "Why are we cutting? Let's cut out this lyric," and Alex is like, "But I love that. That was the heart of my soul. The reason why this is." What's the worst thing and best thing about collaborating with one another?
I really try to come to our writing sessions with like a really open mind.
Yeah,
I'd say the hardest thing is the physical time to do it. Is like literally finding a time to sit down, have a drink, and just talk about the songs that I currently have on deck or Cassie has on deck. Cassie has written actually some of my favorite songs that we haven't recorded yet. Cassie wrote. Yeah, I was just telling her the other day, we just had a backyard show the other day, and I was like, can we switch this out and play your song instead? But we ended up not doing that. But like, I don't know.
I think like very rarely has there been a moment where what you suggested of like, but I really like that part. Why are we changing it? I think that's only happened maybe twice that I can think of, that it's been like, no, like it not confrontational, but just been like, no, I feel really strongly about this. Most of the time we're very receptive to each other's ideas.
We definitely feel like, I think maybe that gets to be more of an issue when it comes to the arrangement. And I think that's just because we're two people trying to figure out 6 or 7, 8 parts. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's more like where it's like, I reach out to Cassie and I'm like, I don't necessarily like this violin line. And she's like, well, it's what I had to come up with because we're only 2 artists. You know what I mean? So I think those I guess we see more frequently, but I love the times where we get to actually arrange a song. And that was what was really cool about the song we were just talking about, Too Young, is that we knew we liked the song, but we threw a band together because we wanted to record it for NPR, but we hadn't arranged the song at all. So we just brought people together who we knew could play, and they made the parts up as we went. So that was interesting because during the pandemic, we like jammed, like it was a band day. You know what I mean? And we had a couple days like that before we sat and recorded it. And, there were moments where we were like, you know what, can you actually play it like this instead? Or But for the most part, like we introduced the song to them and like kind of gave the reins to everybody in our group, who we can shout out. Matt was on guitar, electric guitar, and mixed and produced the whole thing. Our friend Derek Hester sang background vocals and played keys. Our friend Lauren
Lauren McKay.
Lauren McKay, who was in Once with us, and Michelle Chin, who was in Once with us. So was Matt actually too.
Yeah.
But so we had some friends from that initial like writing powwow come and play with us again. So that was really cool because it felt like there was a lot less pressure on us to do those things, which have been stressful in the past, you know?
Yeah, more collaboration.
Do you guys have a dream artist or group whom you would want to open for one day?
I don't know. That's such a hard question.
I think like my gut answer is always going to be the Lumineers because that's like probably our
Yes.
Very similar vibe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and like
I just didn't want to say it because that was my answer too. But I was like,
but I feel like that for both of us, like we have different tastes in music in general, but there is some overlap, and the Lumineers is like a big part of that overlap
Yeah.
and definitely a big influence.
Mhm.
And Wesley Schultz of the Lumineers is like the nicest person on social media.
Yeah,
it's
he,
like
like,
clearly
Nice.
he like runs his own account, and anytime that we tag him in things, or like we did a cover of a Lumineers song and he like sent us a really lovely comment. So
Oh.
yeah,
we aspire to be like them.
yeah.
Their collaborative
We call him Daddy
process-
Schultz.
Daddy Schultz. I hope he never sees this.
I hope he does see that.
Their process is actually really similar because it's Jeremiah who plays the drums when they play live, but he also writes all those really crazy, like orchestral cinematic piano parts. That's Jeremiah's writing. So Jeremiah and Wesley, exactly, precisely from Ophelia.
Yeah.
So Jeremiah and Wesley write all the songs together and then they bring it to the band, and that's kind of similar to how we do it too, which I think is interesting. But
You guys recently, you recently submitted a Tiny Desk NPR submission that the people can check out on YouTube right now. Links on your socials. Explain a little bit what the Tiny Desk affiliation is and how long of a goal was it for the band to get selected?
great question.
We submitted last year for the Tiny Desk contest. NPR does this contest every year, and it's for unsigned artists. And last year we submitted The Death of Maggie Simon, and we actually got selected as a Desk of the Day for the month of June. They were like sharing an entry on their stories, which was very cool because it's like over 10,000 entries. So that's pretty wild. But anybody can enter, and NPR, states in their like rules that every single entry gets watched in its entirety.
Yeah, the rules are fairly simple. It's just essentially, all over 18, all U.S. citizens, and then all
Original song.
original songs. You have to have a desk. Okay, so there are some rules, but
Yeah.
and then the only other rule is that you just have to be unsigned independent artists. So yeah, what's funny though is that like we were talking because we had jammed a couple times before the pandemic started, and the plan was to record a Tiny Desk submission because I knew it about the contest for years. It's been going on for like I think 8 or 9 years now. So in 2019 when we started jamming, we're like 2020 is going to come and we're going to submit to NPR even if we had no music out or anything like that. And then it never happened because of the initial coming about of the pandemic. So that was crazy. So we had the idea 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
Last year we did it, and then this year we just finished our submission as well, which was really awesome.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yes.
Maybe we went too wild for them because we watched our old video again. We're like, it's just very acoustic and soft. And then this new song, which we love, is just a lot different than Maggie and than our Maggie recording, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe they just won't like us this time. You never know.
Well, each year, just give them a new flavor. Next year, go to rap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
I'm not that familiar with Tiny Desk. What's the end goal post that?
Oh, if you win the contest, by the way, you get they fund a tour for you, and you get a
get your own
proper Tiny Desk concert, which is you haven't watched David. You haven't watched the Tiny Desk
Tiny Desk is fairly big.
videos.
I've
You
heard
haven't
of
watched
Tiny
any.
Desk.
Wow. Okay. No, it is like a YouTube
I have, but I
rabbit
haven't
hole.
seen it. Right.
Yeah,
yes.
you will watch every big artist ever. I feel like has done some sort of Tiny Desk. Well, what kind of music do you listen to, by the way?
Oh, I listen to like a lot of indie rock.
Oh, I'm guarantee someone you love has been on Tiny
Oh,
Desk.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lumineers Tiny Desk is actually
Yeah, it's very good.
one of my favorites to watch. It's
Very
great.
good. Yes.
This is a Lumineers interview now.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite? Is there an upcoming album single to be expected? Date, set, time? Is it in the works?
Well, we will say it's in the works.
Yes.
There
Okay,
are
good.
songs that have been laid down and need some tweaking. But what's funny about doing this independently is you learn how it really works, and it takes not only the production, which we're still not finished with, but after that, once you have the song done, it still takes like 6 weeks to get it on all your streaming services. So at the minimum, it's 6 weeks away, but it's more realistically, we probably won't get to it for the fall.
Realistic. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the goal right now.
The goal. All right, guys. Well, let's transition away from the Lumineers and let's go to a game. Never. Yeah, we'll keep them in our hearts, but we'll take them with us to the game. Let's go along. If you guys are okay with that, let's go along and move on forward.
Sure.
This episode of POWWOW Podcast is sponsored by Sides.
Meet Sides, SIDES, an app that helps you take the law into your own hands.
Turn ordinary agreements into binding contracts in seconds. Then if a dispute arises, Sides will step in to resolve it for you.
Wait, Phil, that was supposed to be my line.
What did we agree to in the contract?
I don't know. I guess we can use Sides to settle this dispute, because each dispute costs a small one-time fee.
And if you win, which I will, it's all awarded back to you.
Sign up now and get 16% off for a limited time only.
Always hits the spot, doesn't it?
Oh, it really does. It really does. This is Bite Me. We've come back around to one of our favorites. Bite Me is our mini segment this week. And I'll start out because we're fresh off the Oscars. And Encanto won for Best Animated Feature. And
See, it did.
Encanto sucks. It's so like everyone's so excited about it. I don't get it. It's not a very good musical. It's not a very good animated movie. The characters are super generic. There's the cultural significance of it. Like, this is not Coco. Encanto is not Coco, because Coco is deeply ingrained in the culture that it's representing, right? The story comes directly from that culture. You can take all the plot points of Encanto and transplant that in any culture around the world. There's nothing significant to the plot about the culture. Like, you can take magical house with a family full of magical abilities who help the town around them, transplant that in like Bavaria and make it, instead of a casita, it's a kleine whatever houses in German.
I would have no clue.
Transplant it anywhere. Transplant it in freaking Vietnam and call it whatever it is in Vietnamese. There's nothing special about the cult. There's nothing cultural really about the story. It's just not. The music isn't that good. It's not. Only a few of the songs are actually Latin. Most of them are very poppy, and there's not. Again, like, it's just not there. And there's a villain in the beginning that never features. It's just not very good. Like, this is not even just a few years ago, and this is like Moana was not mind-blowing, but it was good. It was really, really good because it was significant to the culture that it was telling a story about. And so this is not that, and this is certainly not Coco. I'm just I'm so disappointed that it won. It's not a good musical. It's not a good animated movie. And if you disagree with that, you can go ahead and bite me.
Oh, the rule of Bite Me to not be able to respond is excruciating, but we move on to my Bite Me. Guys, it's time to live in the now, in the truth, and in the honesty. Extra crunchy peanut butter is the peanut butter to eat. To say it's gross is like saying you don't want any cookie dough bites, just cookie dough ice cream, like an entire ice cream made out of cookie dough. It's too much. A chicken noodle soup can only have broth and no chunks of chicken. What world are you living in? Or a lobster ravioli can only have pureed lobster, not actual chunks of lobster in it. Think about what you're saying, people. If you don't want peanut butter chunks in your peanut butter, what is wrong with you? The essence of what the entire being is gives texture, a flavor combination upon which makes peanut butter edible, makes peanut butter what it is, the king of all that it can possibly be. And for you to say that extra crunchy peanut butter is ew, is disgusting, is something not worth exploring within every crevice your mouth can find, I say, bite me.
And of course, now comes the once more. And we had a little trouble trying to think of what we should talk about, what kind of relates to what we talked about in the main topic. We're definitely doing a music themed episode here.
Certainly.
And so we thought we'd look at music videos. Does that kind of combine cinema and music?
Well,
kind of,
maybe, but even if you want to talk about our interviewed guests, they were talking about their TED Talk, their tiny desk. Not TED Talk. Not TED Talk. They were they were talking about their tiny desk submission, and as such, you can find that on YouTube. It's a music video of sorts. So we tried to transpose that into our favorite music videos of all time. Now, again, the caveat here: not the best of all time. Our favorite music videos. I'm sure Queen Bohemian Rhapsody would probably be like one of those iconic things that you would not be able to have a list without including them on it. But stuff like that, that's just before my time. Those aren't my favorite music videos. So I guess let me start out here and I'll give an honorary mention. Somebody That You Used to Know by Goatee. I just, the visual, I don't think it necessarily marries well to the song, but it's so good. And when they actually do incorporate and look at each other within the film or within the music video, there's a lot of that really sticks out to me. Anytime I hear that song, I immediately follow along within the music video. I think that's a good sign of any music video, is when it can marry in your memory to the song itself. So let's go to my favorite. I think in order to be a favorite song, or excuse me, a favorite music video for anybody, the song itself has to subjectively, you have to like that song. So in order to even begin to like my favorite music video, you have to like this song. The song, of course, is We Found Love in a Hopeless Place by Rihanna. I love Rihanna. If you look at the music video, it tells a story. I think it abstractly touches along with the music and the lyrics so very well. You can see the entire story without having to have it spelled out to you. It's very artistic. I love how free-flowing it is. And of course, I love Rihanna, so why would I not love this song? My favorite, We Found Love in a Hopeless Place. You, David?
Yeah, I don't love the song, and so I think they're in. You're right. Like it just that sort of dictates how you approach the subject. Now, I approach the subject from two different directions. First of all, real song music videos, and so a couple honorable mentions. I wanted to pick something from the 2000s, like between 2000 and 2009, and so a couple honorable mentions. Hey Ya by Outkast and Toxic by Britney Spears, both really great. But my favorite real song music video is really weird one. But I was looking through a list of 2000 iconic music videos, and Sugar We're Going Down Swinging by Fall Out Boy. You know, the guy with the antlers, and he there's the girl, and he has this sort of love story with the girl. And I love the song by Sugar We're Going Down Swinging by Fall Out Boy.
Is that the one that's a continuation almost of This Ain't a Scene, it's an arms race, where don't they do a music video that almost continues off of a previous music video?
It might be a different song, but This Ain't a Scene, I think, has an entirely different music video.
Right. There's either way. I know Fall Out Boy did that once.
You could be right. I don't think I know Fall Out Boy's music videos that well, but that one is one that I really love. But now the real best music videos are parody songs, and those music videos to me are by far the best. And
I thought the music video You and Me starred in?
No, not that.
We're going to completely ignore that music video.
Yes.
We'll talk about that in a later episode, I'm sure.
In a few years, maybe. No, so I thought about some Weird Al, but do you remember the guys who did What Does the Fox Say?
Yes.
The Norwegian guys, they go by Ylvis.
Yes.
Like Elvis, but with a Y instead of an E. And they have a song called Yogurt. Now, that music video is phenomenal. There's just so much going on. There's so much going on in the background. Like, you can follow plot lines in the background if you watch it closely. It's fantastic. It's such a great music video. Very, very well done. I love those guys. They're actually really funny. Forget What Does the Fox Say. They've got some really funny songs. Check them out on YouTube. Yeah, those like really are the only ones really worth watching. Other music videos I could take or leave.
All right, let's get to the game. Cass and Crossland are rejoining us, I suppose, for the game, since we've taken a few segues here. But let's get back to the game. But before that, of course, as you know, David, and Cass and Crossland, being a part of the podcast, you should know as well, we get a few more questions to get to know you guys as people, not just from what you do, get more intimate. And since you guys are technically my guests today, David, you get 2 questions. I get 1. So why don't you start us off, Hoffman?
What is the best sequel movie of all time and why? We'll start with you, Cassie.
Oh, no.
She wasn't ready for this. She was like, all right,
no,
okay.
I do have an answer. Have an answer. Can it be at like the third? Because that's
Sure,
still a sequel, right?
Of course.
The third Back to the Future.
Oh,
The Western
The
one.
Western.
I
Western.
love the Western one. Yeah.
That's a good
the
one.
train going off into the sunset.
Back to the Future 2 is the future one, though.
Yeah, that one's
Yes,
Yeah.
the future.
Creepy. It's creepy.
yeah.
It's
It
really
is.
I watched
dark.
all of those during the pandemic as well.
Yeah.
For the first time. in a while.
It's really dark, the second one. That's absolutely a great answer, Alex.
Thank you.
Like my brain instantly went to The Dark Knight, which, but like,
It's
I
cliche,
think for like
but it's good. It's good.
it's cliche, but that's just where my brain went.
Good answer.
I mean,
good
it's-
answer. Like
Good
family
answer.
feud.
I think, yeah. Can
I
we
think it's
see The
like-
Dark Knight? Yeah, exactly.
Number one.
I think it's my favorite sequel movie, with the exception of maybe Empire Strikes Back. But,
Sure,
like,
sure. I think then after thinking about it more, 22 Jump Street is
That is
very
so. It doesn't
funny.
deserve to be that good,
very
but it's
funny.
very good.
It does not. They're both very good, but
Yes.
again, that one was I forgot about that.
Similarly, since you guys met doing a production of Grease, I prefer Grease 2 to Grease
one.
1.
You're wild.
Wow.
I prefer Grease
crazy.
Okay.
It's Michelle Pfeiffer all the
Yeah,
way.
you want a smooth writer? Is that what? Jeez,
It's a cool writer. Thank
cool
you
writer.
very much.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah, Phil, why don't we move on to your question?
Yes. What would be the Cass and Crossland equivalent to the Beyonce demand of keeping the room at a precise 78 degrees, or wanting 4 pink Skittles in a cup, or a vanilla scented candle? What would be your wackiest demands?
Probably the fact that we don't use an actual shaker. We want to put a sesame seed thing on every recording, and Matt is like, no, it's not loud enough. It's not like properly shaken because you have to shake it like a certain way. And we're like, no, but it just sounds better. It just sounds better. Just put it on the recording. Just put it on the
So
recording.
if you arrived at a venue and you forgot your shaker and they handed you a maraca, what would you say?
Is there an Asian market nearby? Because this will not do.
This will
We've
not
done
be
it in the
acceptable.
past. You've brought a proper shaker to a gig and hated it.
I know. Just doesn't have the same weight distribution.
I know.
Doesn't have the
I would say
soul.
LaCroix.
Oh yes.
LaCroix would
Oh.
also be like, if we had the luxury of having demands instead of just being like, oh my God, we're so happy to be here.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'd be like, can we have some key lime LaCroix,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah, right now we're showing up to gigs like, do you guys need anything? Like still so I don't
Can I
know.
get you something?
Yeah. I know.
Okay. All right. In typical David fashion, my second question is the more interesting one. Have either of you ever had to deal with your musical counterpart sloppy drunk?
Oh.
And I want a story if there is.
Actually, not really. We both handle our alcohol pretty well.
Yeah.
And I would say the problem is like we'll go out and drink after a gig or after even during a gig, for low stakes gigs. But I feel like we always have so much gear to lug around. Like we always have somewhere to go after, or like if we carpool, one of us has to stay
Mhm.
sober. So that's like a tough question.
I would say you've probably seen me sloppy drunk.
Oh, at
I'll
those
throw
once
myself
parties?
on the sword. Yeah.
she just really wants to sing. I do remember this.
Yeah.
Wait, like when at those initial parties,
Yeah,
you were
like
like,
the once cast parties.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about. Yeah, you just want to get up and sing from the musical theater book, I guess. But
Yeah.
that's not atypical to me. I don't think it's not too far off of your personality. You just
Yeah.
really
I'm not like
wanna
crying or throwing
Yeah.
up. I'm like, let's sing Les Mis. But just its own problem.
Sing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, David, enter us into the game. Give us a full description. What are we expecting here?
So we're going to be playing an impressions game. So we're going to be partnering up So Phil will partner with one of you, and I will partner with the other. And then when it's Phil and let's say Phil is partnered with you, Alex. When it's your guys' turn, I will text one of you with either a individual, a celebrity, a character, or a region, and you will have to do an impression of that person or the accent or dialect from that region.
Oh no.
And it'll be your partner's task to guess the impression that you're doing. Now you will get one. The impression has to be two simple lines long, no longer, and you will get 2 guesses. The first one, if you get it right, is worth 2 points. If you get it wrong and you get it on the second time, that's only worth 1 point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just nervous.
Yeah, my anxiety levels are through the roof.
David, who would you like to take on your all-star draft here as your partner? No pressure.
I'll take Cassie.
Cassie, Alex, you and me,
Good
baby.
choice.
All right, let's show them up.
We're going
All
down.
right. Since you drafted first, why don't I give an impression first? I'll send it to you here,
All right.
David.
Oh, goodness.
Let's do this.
Love that. Okay. All right, Cassie, are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
All right. That's the thing about high school girls. I keep getting older, but they just stay the same age.
All right.
All right.
That's Matthew McConaughey.
It's easy.
Yeah.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Point on the board. We didn't say this would be complicated.
So 2 points. That's
It just
2
might be
points.
embarrassing.
But that was a good impression.
That was good.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Nicely done. All right,
I was like, is
Hoffman.
he here?
Yeah. Matthew, is that you?
I will allow up to 2 passes. So each one of you will get at least 1 pass. Or just you will get
Oh.
1 pass.
That's kind.
If
Thank
you
you.
don't know the person or if you really just can't do
Or if it just turns out wildly offensive
it.
because of how bad it is.
Oh no, that's the great content. That's what we want.
It's going to be controversial.
Here we go, Alex.
Mhm.
That is the second time you have spoken out of turn, Miss Granger. 5 more points from Gryffindor
I feel
for
like-
being an
I feel
insufferable
like that's cheating.
Novatar.
I feel like that's cheating. Like
kinda feel the same
you need
way.
to be like, you need to say like, "Welcome to the ice cream shop." You need to like say something completely unrelated to
I mean,
the
I
Harry
said-
Potter
I
universe.
I used the Matthew McConaughey quote.
Oh, I guess that's true.
So we each get 1 line. From here on out, we're just being innocuous, yes?
I feel like that'd be funnier,
We'll try.
but
We'll
That's
try.
so
Okay.
hard.
I know.
Okay.
that does
But
make
it-
it very hard.
It's very
Okay.
clearly Alan Rickman's Severus Snape.
I
But-
love that. Yes, absolutely. All right. So from now on, per Alex's request, we're making this harder.
Oh,
we're going
God.
into talk about something else. I
Wait,
love it.
why don't we just make it like, because I just said welcome to the ice cream shop? Why don't we just? You have to say welcome to the ice cream shop.
Impossible.
Why? Why?
We'll see.
You
We'll
haven't
see.
had to do it yet.
You
You're
can-
talking a big game.
Let's do it.
Let's
I'm not
just
saying it's
see
going
how
to be
this
good. I think
next
it's going to be
round
funnier.
goes.
All right.
Let's see how
Alex,
this next round goes.
Yes, Cassie, I'm going to be sending this to you.
Hey, I have to say what?
You don't know who that is?
No. I just am. Alex threw new rules, and now I don't know how to do
yes.
it.
What's her line? Give her line, Alex.
Well, do you want something like that's different than welcome to the
I think
ice
it
cream
should
shop?
be. It should be longer than
Something
welcome to the ice
something a
cream
little
shop.
more elaborate. Whatever you
I just
feel
don't think.
Sure.
I don't think it should involve character names or anything like that
Sure.
because that's a
Fair
dead
enough.
giveaway.
All right,
Fair
here
enough.
we go. I have an idea.
Okay.
David, you beautiful land mermaid. Welcome to the ice cream shop, the finest in Indiana.
Oh, is it?
I know.
Oh, I think I think I know. I'm trying to remember.
Is
I'm
that
gonna
a
try
direct
Goo-
line?
Am I allowed to
No.
Google her name?
No,
Yeah, because you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was good.
Thank
that was
you.
very good, Cassie. Great
Oh
job.
my God,
Yeah.
thank you. I do act a little.
Yeah, I
Also,
knew
she's
that
like
was-
my
Is it
Spirit.
character
is it
icon.
Amy Poehler's Leslie Nope?
It sure
Yes.
is. I love her so much.
Yes.
I almost thought when like the first 5 seconds after you finished that you were trying to do a Chris Traeger or a Rob Lowe
Yeah.
from
The enthusiasm is
yeah
hard to be specific.
yeah because she goes up and down emotionally in that show.
I love her so much.
Yeah.
Coming at you, Alex.
Oh sheesh. Oh shoot. I don't think I'm that good at this one. Okay, I'm gonna give this a shot, but it's gonna be really bad. All right, Phil, let's do this. Hello, welcome to the ice cream shop. It is a very good ice cream shop. Several times you might find yourself coming here
Okay.
Oh.
when you have nothing else to do. That's really bad.
Based off of that, Alex, I'm going to have to go with. Were you going for Sean Connery? Maybe.
Oh no! Wait, the other two guessed it completely right. Well, David gave it to me, but Cassie had it. But you got it dead wrong, my friend.
Oh no! All right, I get
You get another guess.
I get another guess, but I get more of an impression. Yes.
Do you want?
I think he should do more.
Alex said while we were,
it's gonna help you.
we were momentarily off air, and Alex said, "I'm not doing any more."
No, it's fine. It's fine. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
God, no. How would you do it? Okay.
It's not my job right
It's
now.
not my job. That is not my problem. That is above my pay grade. Okay. At this ice cream shop, you can purchase many flavors, things in which you may find yourself. That's about, I don't know.
That's all you're going to get, Phil.
That's all the wisdom I have for today, really, about the ice cream shop.
I'm going to go with Rango, Johnny Depp's Rango.
Oh,
wow, I've never seen that
You did sound like you were from the Old West.
I can't do it. I don't know why.
I can think of several reasons.
Who the heck did I miss?
David, let's hear your Morgan Freeman. So I'm not like fucking. So I'm not like embarrassed because let's hear somebody else try it. Never mind. You don't have to try it. I got embarrassed. I was the one who had the by far the hardest. Okay.
No. I don't know. I'm not sure why we are so obsessed with ice cream shops. I don't know. I can't do it either.
West in there too. I can't do it either.
The West gets in there a little bit. That's where I'm like, okay. No points scored there. I'm going to be sending this to back to David.
Good.
Oh no.
Great. Wonderful. Okay.
And remember, this is for you, Cassie.
Am I allowed to play on the whole ice cream shop thing?
Yeah.
You don't have to be stuck to the
bits and bobs in there. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd prefer if we. Just kidding.
Stop
running. Never wanted ice cream quite as much as I do now. But standing here in this ice cream shop, I believe there might be lactose in the lactose-free sorbet.
Oh.
Okay.
I think I know it.
Hang on. I need to Google something.
That's fair. That's fair.
What she's Googling. Oh, I think she's onto something here.
Are you Daniel Craig in Knives Out?
Yes!
That was basically what Morgan Freeman was for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I pretty much did the same voice. I just spoke a little louder. And
I know.
Well, there's a little twang to that
was
little ice
good.
cream.
I recognize
There's been a murder.
There's
murder.
There's some dairy in this.
I thought you were going to take it to the donut shop, David.
It was. You know what? You know what? It's the fact that you knew what to say. It was the line. There might be lactose in this. That one did it for me.
That was the clue in.
Yeah.
I bet if you hadn't seen the movie, there would have been no way.
You were,
no way.
Foghorn Leghorn. What's that?
Oh,
Looney
yeah.
Tunes
Yeah. I say.
I say.
Check. Okay.
All right, Phil, this one's coming at you.
Oh, that's right.
You can say if you want.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Can I don't feel too comfortable with this.
Oh, so you want to skip this one?
Yeah, can I skip it?
You may, but you're not allowed to skip this next one.
Okay. Okay. Oh God.
I have an idea, by the way.
Oh, stop changing the rules.
No. It's fun. It's not a change of the rule at all.
You have to pretend to be a pirate, pretending to be these accents. Just compound the problem here, Alex.
Yes. No. I have a really good idea. Trust me.
Trust you. And now, do I need to?
Yeah. Can I take over the podcast for a sec? Once you're done with your impression.
Once I'm done with my impression. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Alex.
You get a point for this.
Simpatico. Let's do this.
Okay.
Well, I say there's a nice looking ice cream over there. Do you happen to have any
anything to whet my appetite while I'm enjoying this ice cream. Maybe a nice strong Guinness.
Unless there's like someone who speaks specifically like that, I would just go and say Irish in general.
Yes.
Irish
Okay.
is correct.
Good. I was like, is there someone who's just generic Irish
Who's the
in our
most-
culture that I should know
who's-
about? Is that Ed
I
Sheeran?
dare
don't know.
Dare I say there's actually millions of them, and they all
Yeah,
live in Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my idea.
Commandeer
I
us.
just want to spitball this. Since we're on your show as like sort of your musical guests, I'd like to give you guys impressions, but they have to be musical impressions.
Oh my god!
I mean, I'm down with that. I sing. David, but
I'm not a singer.
Well, we now know you like Arctic Monkeys or something like that. I can give you something like that, but no. It will just be like famous, like easy ones. But I just want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll try anything once.
I'm gonna message David one right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, I'll message Philip.
This is what I'm saying. We since you've never done this might be too easy. You don't know.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Hold on one sec. Cassie and I are collaborating.
Per the usual.
Wait, but who's guessing now? Has Cassie seen what you just sent me?
Look,
Oh,
Yeah.
Philip has to guess.
I guess I'll guess what David does.
I guess
and
we're
David
doing
guesses.
this
Yeah, I can't show you.
just
What
for,
the heck? Okay, yeah.
Just
This is just
for
for the
giggles
hosts.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, I really want some ice cream. Oh, I want chocolate flavor. Oh,
That was really good.
You booked the part.
I know the people listening to the podcast right now can't see it, but your hips were just gyrating like crazy, man. It had to be Elvis. Had to be Elvis ordering a banana split.
Yes, a
do
peanut
I
butter
have
banana.
a
Yeah.
future in Vegas?
Yes.
I would say so.
You got that. You got the curl
I
right
got
now
the
too. You got
hair,
the hair.
yeah.
David,
That's half the battle.
I swear to God, there is a place in Vegas in every ice cream shop that they have available to.
I will be the Elvis impersonator at the ice cream shop
At
in
the ice
Vegas.
cream shop.
Yes.
All right,
Elvis's
Cassie.
ice cream.
Oh, wow. How do I? Okay. You can order pistachio or chocolate chip Rocky Road. You can eat the wafer or you can go lick a toad. There's all these types of ice creams waiting for you to lick. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Who
That
would
was
you guess,
good.
David? Who would you guess?
Who would I would
Yeah.
guess John Lennon.
Yes, there you go.
But I
There
mean,
you go.
you kind of the tune kind of gave it away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going more for the tune that I don't like. If I was to go, I think I've heard him.
Yeah, he does that.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
Great record.
Yeah, great record, John.
I think the only thing I would have known is like the Forrest Gump interview of like the time
Oh,
I heard
yeah.
him speak. So I was like, how do I do John? So
Yeah,
anyway.
you should watch that freaking documentary if you haven't.
Yes, it's on Apple. Yes,
Crazy. Yeah, it's on
Yes.
Apple.
What?
it's
Get back.
crazy.
Get back.
It's on
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus. Sorry,
Sure.
it's on
Disney
Plus.
Plus. It's one of
Well,
the
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Maybe you guys don't know this about Phil, but I do. Phil is not that big of a Beatles fan.
Whoa.
Whoa, hey now.
Controversial.
I know, right?
Hey, now, huh.
Oh, hey now, easy. All right.
I know. I didn't want to start a war, but Switzerland over there just
But here
just
we
threw a
are.
shoe at you. Here we are.
I know. I know.
All right. So last impressions here, David. Before we get to our final score, you guys will have to miss your last impression in order for us to me and Alex to get
Oh,
there,
yeah.
right?
All right.
Yeah.
I
For the
guess.
scoring
How many
system?
have we done? How many have we done? We've only done
I've-
3 official
3.
ones.
So we need two more to make our normal 5.
Yeah, 2 more each.
Okay.
But if we win this one, we'll get there.
We'll get there when we
the
get
game
there.
is still wide open.
The game is afoot.
I just can't believe I got Morgan Freeman.
What is it? I detect foul
Ah.
play.
Oh yeah.
Whose turn was it? I've
You're
lost
sending
track.
it to Alex.
I am sending it to Alex. Okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'll have to skip. I don't
Oh,
I don't even really know
Okay.
what that is. Oh wait.
Oh, I'm so
From-
disappointed.
From that one thing?
Yeah, technically, Cassie doesn't.
If you mute
she
yourself,
know.
you can consult with Cassie,
Yeah.
but you'd have to mute yourself.
That's what I thought, but I still want to skip.
Okay, all right.
Still
You're
wanna
using
skip.
your skip. I'm very sad that you
Some
are
of us didn't have
skipping
a childhood.
Dr. Evil.
That was.
Come
1
on,
million
Alex.
flavors.
Oh, there it is. I literally would be like,
What
I
the
don't even
frick
know
is
what his
wrong
voice
with you, man?
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
I forgot about
All right.
that. Like I would have just done the pinky. That's all I could have pulled up, like out of my memory. Okay, this one. Okay. Ho- Are we eating ice cream? Oh boy, that's exciting. I love ice cream. Thank you.
All right.
That's pretty good.
All right.
That's very good.
Now that is really good, but it leads me to two roads, and I don't think it's the second one. So I'll start with the second one first, but that's not my official guess. It's either Towley
Okay.
from South Park.
Oh no,
Don't forget to bring a
Yeah.
towel. But I don't think it's him. I think it's Mickey Mouse.
it is. It's probably because I said
Okay,
oh
good.
boy.
Yeah.
Well, you know me.
Yeah.
I don't watch South Park, so
Right. I had to
Really?
consider the generator of it. All right.
He only watches Austin Powers.
Oh yeah. His
And
humor
Family
stops
Guy.
at Mike Myers.
there you go. That's
Oh,
6
that's a good
points
impression
then
though.
for you
Is
guys.
Shrek? If someone has a Shrek.
Oh, I've got a Shrek.
He does have a
Let's hear
Shrek.
it.
We've
Let's
been
hear
there
it.
on this
Mike,
podcast
Mr. Mike
before.
Myers over here. Oh, it's
Yeah.
been on the podcast.
I mean, I can do it for you guys.
Of course.
The listeners
Just
are like,
off the
please,
record.
I
not
will
again.
never say no to a Shrek impression.
Donkey! Ogres have layers.
That's good.
Onions
Yeah.
have layers.
Ice
about ice
cream
cream?
has layers.
Ice cream is made in layers. Chocolate, vanilla, vanilla.
That is good.
Oh no, this is gonna be really rough.
Oh, you already sent one, Phil?
I sent it to
believe-
Cassie.
I believe in you, Cassie.
Oh,
She knows.
gosh.
Now you know how I feel with Morgan Freeman.
Morgan
You
Freeman.
can ask for another one.
You
you
can ask
pass.
for another one if you want one. But this one's, I feel like this one's pretty
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's like it's theoretically easy,
theoretical.
but I feel personally challenged.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, excuse me, David. I was wondering, why is all the ice cream gone?
You looking at me.
It's got to
gotta
be
keep
Johnny
going.
Depp's Jack Sparrow.
Okay.
Oh wow! Wait, what? I wasn't there at all. I was not there
damn.
at all.
Oh, where'd you think it was?
I needed more. I would not have been able to do that from
Thank you.
from just that.
Wow.
That's why David and I are the superior team.
No
Okay, but
kidding.
wasn't the ice cream rule a good rule? I don't know.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
good.
it's worked well.
It's housed us
I had
well.
no idea. I would have had no idea for that one.
All right, so
All
our
right, that's
last
8
one,
points for us. You guys have to get this.
we
Oh.
have to get this, and then we'll still lose. I think,
Tie?
right?
Yeah.
No,
we
then
can
you would
just-
tie it up.
Oh, we
but
tie.
we can
Okay.
admit defeat. Is there a sudden death? Like
Yeah, I think we're only at 4 here, David.
Oh yeah, that's right. But if you get this,
sudden
you
death.
would be on. Oh, I don't know. God, we've really screwed the pooch here. I think, Phil.
It's all right. This is more entertainment than anything else. Last one here. Oh God, where do I even go with this? God, it goes. It's so bad. It's gonna go somewhere else. Okay. Okay.
Listeners, we apologize for any stereotypes.
Hello, Mr. Alex. Do you happen to have any wonderful little fish that I can put in my ice cream?
Can I specify? Is it region or person? Am I
David,
allowed?
It is region.
Okay.
Okay. Oh wow, that's almost worse. Because I was gonna go for like the kid with the goat from Ed, Ed and Eddie, but now I'm like,
So niche.
I know. I'm just gonna say Swedish.
There you go.
Wait, really? Oh my god!
Oh,
I thought he was Italian.
I thought it
it
was
got
like
Italian
either,
at the end. I was like, dang it.
It's like,
I thought I was leaning towards like the Middle East or something like that,
Oh,
like
God.
Yugoslavian or something. Like you were gonna pull something crazy on me.
It bleeds so much. Like it sometimes goes into German. Just once we get into there, it goes into stronger accents that I have, but not Swedish. My God.
It
All
gets
right.
so specific over there in Europe, you know.
It really does. It really does. Well, somehow, some way, Cassie and David won.
That sounds right.
That sounds right. Sounds for those
I believe it was 10 points to 8 in the end. Although I was trying to keep score, and then I think I messed up somewhere because
we got mixed up in there. Hopefully, you at home have a better way of keeping score. As we here, we're just really getting lost in the sauce, and now we're all a little more hungry for ice cream. I would like to say. So thank you guys both for joining us.
This is the first time guests have ever gone, wait, hold on, can we play this as well?
That's Alex Crossland in a nutshell.
I know. I was like, but I have a better idea.
Look at this. We're all still collaborating. Love it.
Such a joy having you guys on.
Yes, please plug the socials, plug your albums, plug away. Let's give you the floor here.
All right. We're on Instagram and TikTok, Cass and Crossland, CASSAND. CROSSLAND. And then if you look for us on Spotify or Apple Music or any other streaming service, it's Cass and Crossland, but the and is an ampersand.
Because you can't do that on the socials.
Yeah. And I think YouTube, you can find us either way if you search the word and or ampersand. Yeah.
I believe it's technically an ampersand, but you'll find it either way.
This is the first time I've ever heard the word ampersand.
Oh, it's a little.
Excuse me.
I made the connection, but I don't think I've ever heard the actual word.
That's a word,
You're welcome.
I learned something today.
See, this is why Cassie is a wonderful teacher. Even though
I skipped 7th grade science where they taught all about ampersand.
The ampersand, yeah. The noble gases and ampersands, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, thank you guys. You guys have been wonderful to come along, and we'll definitely make sure to keep you in our hearts each and every episode as you bring us in and out. Thank you so much.
That's so cool still. That's so cool. I know. Bye.
And with a loss, I know it kind of got weird with that game, but with a loss, I go down to 3-4. David, with that win, goes up 4-3. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Keep it out of your mouth. All right, that slaps. How are we leaning too far into it?
Yeah. I mean, it's right there, right? That slaps.
Yeah, we're slapping a dead horse. All right, let's get on.
For me this week, the Chris Rock comedy special.
Jeez, the Louise.
Just kidding.
All right, why don't you start with your that slaps?
Yeah,
David.
as promised last week, I'm still thinking about it right now. Coda cannot feature because Coda is already on that slaps. Featured a few weeks ago when I watched it. So that one's already there. Still the best movie I think from this year's Oscars that wasn't nominated for Best Picture is The Worst Person in the World. And I really think you guys should check it out. It's a Norwegian film. You have to read subtitles, but it is so worth it. It's a gorgeous story, just beautifully told. The acting is amazing. The cinematic choices are it's just a great watch. It's like it's soul food. Like it's just so human, so real. It truly that slaps. That movie, it slaps.
Oh, ooh, way to go. Leaving a mark. My goodness. So the I told you last week that I would justify and I would make up for having missed out on putting a movie on that slaps this week. I have fulfilled that. My That Slaps is actually a short film that I thought should have won the category. It did not. Riz Ahmed won. It's called a short film called Please Hold. My favorite of the category. I found it highly entertaining. I thought it had a good premise. I thought it was clear with what it did. And I liked the acting performance of the main character. I thought it was a very clever premise. Please Hold. It's a short film. It was the Oscar nominated film. It slaps.
I want to say about Please Hold, because I never saw it, unfortunately. I tried to find it online, and I was trying to find it on certain sites that are well, there's the law and things that are legal, and then those sites are elsewhere, let me say. And all I could search was Please Hold, and and most of what came up was porn. It was like, please hold.
Oh, wow.
Blank.
Well, don't watch those. I'm sure there's lots of slapping in there as well. Yeah. Well, we got a few thank yous to get to before we leave. Of course, we've thanked them in person, but we would very much like to thank two very special guests on this podcast. David?
Yeah, of course. Cass and Crossland, thank you so much. Not only for the music that you hear on the intro and the outro of this podcast, we jam to it every time we record, but also for gracing us with your presence on this episode and having so much fun with us in that game as well. It was just terrific having you guys on. So thank you so much for your time. And of course, as usual, a shout out to Jake Corlang. Thank you so much for the work that you have done behind the scenes for this podcast.
Thank you to Josh Hans and Tara Amstutz for their wonderful contributions to the show as well. Could not do it without you guys, and we couldn't do it without you, the listener. Thank you so much for listening to all of our episodes, not just this one, of course. So if you did enjoy this one, guys, we got a whole inventory back there, a whole storage room of great timeless content that you can listen to and listen through on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, even Google Podcasts, pretty much everywhere you can find your favorite podcasts, except for Pandora, because screw you, Pandora.
Keep the bear's wife's name out your f***ing mouth.